Welcome back to Tendencies. I am your host, Jay Suave.
And I'm Jreese.
And if you're here this week, thank you for tuning in again. We hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving with all your family. If you're with your family, we just hope you had a good time in general. This week in the NFL has honestly been a not too crazy of a week, but a pretty good week in the NFL. So we're going to start with a little recap with some NBA too, just some things across the sports world.
Before we get over into the NFL, let me go ahead and start with one thing I want to talk about. The NBA is my Miami Heat. Man, we keep losing leads in the fourth quarter, and it's really frustrating me, man. We lost 2 of the last 4 games, and the fourth quarter play all season has been just a problem for this team. The only game where we didn't have a fourth quarter problem was last game against the Nets and a game against the Cavaliers. The Cavaliers is because we blew them dudes out, and last game is because we were losing all games. So there wasn't really a problem in the fourth quarter because we were already losing. But, that's really been a problem for this team, and if we want to make it far in the playoffs, that's something we have to get fixed up, especially now, so we don't have to worry about it later in the season. But at least Jaime Jaquez Jr. has been playing outstanding this year. And I'm really glad that we got him on our team because he's been looking like a real stud for us.
Most definitely. I mean, Jimmy Butler said y'all will be playing 97 to 98 games this year, so y'all going to have to step it up. But we're going to get right into the NFL. And just starting off on Thanksgiving, the Lions lost another Thanksgiving game, y'all. They haven't won one since 2016, and especially a team that was just 8-2, 8-3 right now. Things kind of went south for them whenever the game just started. And you had Jordan Love, first drive, 3 for 3, like 71 yards and a touchdown. So it just started off pretty bad. And even with that, you just got the defense not playing well. You got the offense. You got Jared Goff turning the ball over like 4 times. Just wasn't really a good day for them.
I'm not going to lie. I'm not really surprised, though, because the last couple of weeks we've seen this with the Lions, but they've fortunately been able to come back and win. So, but the Green Bay Packers aren't that bad of a team where, they'll let them come back, especially on that defensive side of the ball. So, like we saw with the Chargers, they were able to keep it close, and they ended up winning that game. They were able to come back after the mistakes and the turnovers that Jared Goff had against the Chicago Bears. But, having that turnover problem this game, especially when Jordan Love's playing out of his mind, which is, I think, was this week he did the best he's ever done, or was it last week?
It was this week. And you even had Rashawn Gary on the defensive side going crazy. And it's just one of those things where, like, it's complementary football. Your offense plays well for your defense plays well for your offense. So.
Yeah, let me talk about the game of the year for a little bit. Possibly game of the year with the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Buffalo Bills, man.
All right.
In the overtime nail biter, Buffalo led 17-7 at half, and Jalen Hurts only had 33 passing yards. He had 2 turnovers and 1 rushing touchdown at halftime. And then, bro, you know the memes where he's leaning back. Bro had to lean in forward in the chair.
Bro had to lock in.
The Eagles came back after trailing most of the game. Jake Elliott sunk a 49-yard field goal in the fourth quarter in the pouring rain to send it into overtime, which is just crazy. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like I could do that.
You all word? I don't think you can make
Put me out on that field.
Bro, if you could make a PAT, I'll give you $50. A PET?
Say no more.
PAT?
PAT, we gonna do this. Hey, and there's gonna be a video.
There's gonna be a video, right? I'll give you 3 tries. 3 tries to make.
Say no more.
3 tries to make
Say
one
no
PAT.
more.
I promise you won't make it. And you can pick your holder because I'm not holding it for you because I'm a bad holder. But Josh Allen, he was cooking us the whole game. I'm not gonna lie. He was dotting us up through the air, with his legs. That one interception he had, that was just a great play by Bradbury to know where he was throwing the ball and getting there before the receiver could. But Josh Allen in overtime, he drives down the field after they get the ball first. They have a bit of miscommunication because Gabe Davis had the option route. He chose to run the corner route instead of the post, and then the post is what Josh Allen expected him to run because Josh Allen didn't have time to throw because he got pressured immediately. So that led him to kick the field goal. Jalen Hurts, went down the field, scored on a QB draw, which was really frustrating and exciting because, I'm glad Jalen Hurts scored a rushing touchdown, a real rushing touchdown, as some haters would say. But I didn't like it was on a QB draw because Brian Johnson has been calling QB draws all season and they haven't worked. And I hated the play all this season because people have locked into it. So I'm glad it worked, though. Jalen Hurts ended the game with 200 passing yards, 65 rushing yards, 5 total touchdowns, man. 5 tuds, baby. Like, that's crazy. And then Josh Allen, he also had a really great game. There was a great game by Swift and Smitty on the offense side of the ball. Swift, LaShawn McCoy put it out halfway through the game. DeAndre Swift is a guy that needs 20 carries a game on this team Because he's getting like 12 to 14 carries a game, and he's getting like 70-some yards whenever he's getting them carries. So if you give him the carries, he's going to be like, he could probably lead the league in rushing yards. Probably not this season, but probably like in a future season if he's still with the Eagles.
Yeah, y'all look pretty good yesterday, and I kind of want to touch on the offensive line yesterday. And in the first half, it was atrocious.
Jack Driscoll was getting his shit destroyed.
and I didn't even I didn't watch much of the first half because I wasn't home. But I'm just watching I'm basically not live watching because it was halftime at the time, and I'm watching through the first half, and I'm literally thinking because I forgot that Lane Johnson wasn't playing, and I'm like, who is there at right tackle? And then I see it's Jack Driscoll, and Buddy got destroyed 3 plays in a row. But also, I want to point out that whenever the fourth quarter came, and whenever OT came, this man stepped up like no other. Like whenever DeAndre Swift had that run, the Eagles, their run blocking was insane. And honestly, it's way better than their pass game, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%.
And whenever all this stuff was happening at OT, you got Jason Kelce with 2 penalties in crunch time. And
Which is uncharacteristic for Jason Kelce.
At all.
That's one of the best centers in the league.
I know, and you just got that. And it's just like, wow, man. I thought they were going to mess around and lose it because of Jason Kelce. But they ended up prevailing. But at that last drive, I think Jack Driscoll, he kind of basically took all that other stuff out of his mind and locked in, bro. Like, whenever I saw it, that was, really the only guy I was watching. And you see him in the pass pro on the last couple of plays, and no one's getting around him. So
that's
pretty good.
That's a really good thing that a lot of the people on this team do. They make mistakes. Like, everybody makes mistakes, but they don't let those mistakes define them for the rest of the game. They get it off their mind real quick and answer back, like the last play didn't happen, which is really good, and which is what Jalen Hurts was able to do in that second half. He had 33, like we said before, 33 passing yards in the first half, came back with 167, and then, and then threw 3 touchdown passes and got the game-winning rushing touchdown. And by the way, since y'all you didn't hear me say it after the Chiefs game because you didn't know. I told y'all we was gonna win that game. You know what I'm saying? I guaranteed win last Tuesday, and then y'all obviously didn't see my reaction afterwards. But I was locked in. I was excited, man. I was ready. I told y'all. I wasn't worried at all. Of course, I wasn't worried at all. Right? These games are never stressful.
Yeah, that was crazy. And speaking of the Chiefs, they had ended up just beating the Raiders 31-17. I honestly wanted the Raiders to prevail, but because, the whole Antonio Pierce, Aiden McConnell thing. And I really liked the team, honestly, this year. I mean, you had Josh Jacobs with a 63-yard touchdown on the ground. And just coming out this game, you saw them up 14-0 even. And
then they had Patrick Mahomes on 13 total offensive yards.
Yeah, you were thinking that they might mess around and win this thing. And the thing is, that was at home too, but they ended up losing. And whenever they go to Arrowhead, I really don't see much else. But at the same time, they had a really good game. I wish they would have beat Miami last week because they could have been 6-6 right now if they did. Because that was one of the games I put as my games of the week last week. And it was just one of those things to where they had a legit chance to win. And y'all saw last week they only lost by 7. So the Raiders had a pretty good game, but now they're 5-7. And speaking of that, you have a new second place contender in the AFC West in the Denver Broncos.
Oh yeah.
And they have won 5 in a row, y'all. And they're in playoff contention now. They're 6-5. It's been a crazy turn of events for this team. And after losing that game to the Dolphins, they said, all right, that ain't never happening again. They got 70 dropped on them and literally said, all right, boys, we need a lock, and you got Russ cooking, let Russ cook.
The Cleveland Browns, who have one of the, if not the best defenses in the league, had no answer for the Denver Broncos, man. They had 31 points, I believe, right? Or something like that around there. Yeah. And the only thing that I need to see going forward is I need more Marvin Mims targets over Jerry Jeudy. At this point, I think Marvin Mims is a more explosive player. I'll say Jerry Jeudy is still one of the better route runners in the league, but I'll put more trust in Marvin Mims after what little stuff I've seen from him so far in his rookie year. Yeah,
and you saw Russell Wilson, 13 for 22 with 134 yards and a touchdown, and winning a game with those stats, you have a good team.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see them. We're gonna see them next couple weeks. and hopefully they win some more games. I mean, I know a lot of people will be sick if they don't, but like this is like I won't say Cinderella story, but this is
it's a redemption
story,
especially after the horrible year they had last year. This is very much needed from them.
Like we might see them for real make a push into the postseason, yo.
All right. I want to go ahead and talk about let's go ahead and talk about this. You know, the day we're recording this is Monday the 27th. You'll begin this on Tuesday the 28th. But this morning, Frank Reich was fired from the Carolina Panthers, and so was your I believe your running back coach and your quarterback coach.
Yes.
And I just want to ask you, is this a good move or do you think it's a bad move?
Bro, this is probably the best move we could have, bro. I mean, it's about time. Am I right? And I'm honestly surprised that they didn't. I'm surprised like they didn't keep him longer, and that's not even like me liking a Frank Reich thing. I just think it's a Panther ownership thing. Mm-hmm. And you saw whenever we had Matt Rule, everyone is under Panthers Twitter every game talking about fire him every single week. And you're just there and you're like, they kept Matt Rule for 3 years. Like, so it's like, why even bother? You know, we've had, you know, like you said, we have 6 head coaches
since 2019.
And it's just been a wild ride. I'm glad we fired him. We're about to have 7 since 2019. But, I mean, we got rid of the assistant Deuce Staley and Josh McCown. Honestly, y'all, whenever we hired Josh McCown on to be a QB's coach, we were cooked. Because it's like, what has Josh McCown done?
He's been a player in the National Football League.
He's played.
He's been a player in the National Football League.
He's been a player in the National Football League.
You know,
but other than that, I mean, I don't know, bro. I mean, the offense just produced 10 points in each of the last 2 games after Rank took over play calling, bro. After he took play calling from Brown.
I know you didn't see that last play of your drive for the game.
Bro, I had to stop watching.
Oh my, yeah, what's it called? Me and our friend told him afterwards what happened because he didn't see the play. But it was a 4th and 6, you know, game on the line. This is where you want to get your put some confidence in your new rookie quarterback. You know, let him take a shot down the field
with a minute left.
No, I think it was 2 minutes. I think it said 2 minutes.
Okay, but like still, that's so much time.
And then, you know, instead of doing anything, they threw I thought it was Adam Thielen, but it wasn't. But they threw a bubble screen to, I think it was Terrence Marshall. And then Adam Thielen didn't block. And then that led to Terrence Marshall cutting inside, and the old lineman couldn't go out there to block in time. So it was just a horrible play design at the wrong moment of the game.
Y'all, there's no way we have to get 6 yards and throw 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Like, I really don't understand.
And you had Derrick Henry out there dribbling people.
Yes, bro, but I mean, that's regular,
yeah.
bro.
I just think it's funny. I just love watching him dribble people. That's just a funny thing to say. Like, you were getting dribbled, bro.
That's a day's work, bro. But I mean, it's just surprising they didn't keep him a bit longer. But Tepper's a proud owner. I mean, hopefully y'all saw what he was saying on the way out of the locker room. He dropped the F-bomb walking out. And at that point, you could already tell that this team is cooked. Like, this team is a whole dumpster fire.
Hopefully y'all get a replacement at GM too, so y'all can.
Scott Fitterer got to go. And honestly, his first year drafting wasn't too bad. But I mean, you look at this year's draft and you look at last year. I mean, besides like Bryce, you got Jonathan Mingo, not good. Mm-hmm. You got DJ Johnson, he just got injured. But I really feel like DJ Johnson can be better, especially at that linebacker position. And I really just hope that the Panthers keep the main guys that kind of we want to stay on this team. If we get rid of Frankie Louvu, y'all, I'll be so sad. And just guys like Brian Burns is finna leave.
Yeah, he's gone.
He's gone. But I really, really want to keep Frankie. Hopefully, I mean, I don't think Derek Brown's contract is over, so we're going to keep him.
I think he has another year or so.
Yeah, so that'll be tough because Derek Brown's getting up there to being one of the top DTs in the league.
And hopefully next year, you get a lot more Jeremy Chin and what's his name?
J.C. Horn.
J.C. Horn, yes, thank you. Hopefully, because J.C. Horn's been hurt a lot since his rookie year, so he hasn't been able to play, a full season. Mm-hmm. So hopefully he gets a full season under his belt because he was really looking like one of the better young cornerbacks in the league.
whenever he's on the field, y'all, it's a whole different defense. And our defense is already somewhat good, but with J.C. Horn on the field, you necessarily take half of the field away, you know? So it's just one of those things where it's about time. The Panthers just assured their 6th straight losing season since David Tepper bought the team back in 2018. So
God, what a franchise.
It's been quite the 6 years for me, if you haven't been able to tell.
Hey, do you have any replacements that you think would be suitable instead of Frank Reich? I have a couple that I want to go over real quick before you give your options. You obviously have the obvious choice that everybody says every offseason, which is Eric Bieniemy. He'll bring a creativity to the offense that Frank Reich couldn't have brought. There's Brian Flores, the DC for the Vikings. He was a head coach for the Dolphins before. And I know you guys probably were looking for a more offensive-minded head coach to help out Bryce Young. But I think that would really help. When they got DeMeco Ryans over there with the Texans, he's a defensive-minded head coach, but he was still able to bring on people to help develop C.J. Stroud, and you see how well that's turned out. You also have Ben Johnson, the Lions OC, and Frank Smith, the Dolphins OC, two of the better offenses in the league. So especially with the Dolphins, so you probably want to take a look at those guys. And then one guy who might want a redemption story as a head coach would be Dan Quinn, the Cowboys DC. Imagine Dan Quinn and then somehow convincing Brian Burns to stay. And then you get that, and then J.C. Horn comes back, and you see what he was able to do in helping the development of Trayvon Diggs. And, you're seeing it now with Deron Bland under
My bad.
You're good. Under Dan Quinn's scheme. So imagine, J.C. Horn and Jeremy Chin under that scheme. That'd be scary. That
would be. And Dan Quinn would be pretty good just because I know he used to be the coach for the Atlanta Falcons. Mm-hmm. He'd be there. He'd be like, all right, it's time that I should start running this division again. But I think one of my guys that I really want to get, and I really hope if it happens, it doesn't backfire, I really want Ben Johnson. Mm-hmm. And I feel like most Panthers fans agree with me when I say that. But Ben Johnson is one of those OCs. This guy's offense dropped 42 points on us. So, it's just man, we need this guy on our team, and we even got to get rid of Fitter or two, bro. Mm-hmm. But I'm just a really big fan of Ben Johnson. I don't know about Bieniemy, just because, we saw him in Kansas City. Great offensive mind. I just don't know if he's a guy for Carolina.
But you see what he's doing over there in Washington. And he's doing a really good job in Washington, bringing some life to that offense that wasn't there previously. So I think him trying to, develop Bryce Young, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, I don't know. It would be good. I just don't know if I could. I don't know if I'd see it myself, just as of right now, this moment in life.
I understand.
But just in general, my favorite would be Ben Johnson for the job.
Y'all want Brian Johnson?
We do not want Brian Johnson. We do not want Brian Johnson.
Bro, it's okay, bro. Take him.
Anybody else but him.
It's cool, bro. Take him.
Bro, y'all got to fire them. Bro, if we got Brian Johnson, we'd run another bubble screen on 4th and 6.
You'll be ready QB draws with Bryce Young.
Oh, my goodness. That'd be terrible, bro.
That'd be hilarious. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
But what's it called? Let's go ahead and talk about this one topic that your dad had brought up to us that he wanted us to talk about, which is a really good topic, by the way, which is the skills gap between the starting quarterbacks in the league. He was curious about how you get people, that are great quarterbacks in the league. You get the Joe Burrows, the Patrick Mahomes, the Jalen Hurts, and some people like that. On the other hand, you have, Zach Wilson, Kenny Pickett, people like that.
Yeah.
So what do you think about that situation, man?
In today's world, in today's NFL, you have quarterbacks who basically are breaking traditional norms and changing the way that scouts evaluate that position at quarterback. And instead of looking for pocket passers with the right mechanics or textbook footwork and talent evaluators, that coaches are mainly looking to take chances on raw athletes and build their strengths around people who are just straight up playmakers, bro. It's changed ever since we've had Lamar in the league, bro.
Yeah.
And he really started it. And you would have hoped it would have been Cam in 2012, but you still had pocket passers then. But whenever Lamar came into the league, won MVP in 2018, that's whenever it really changed because even in that draft class, you had Kyler Murray come out of that draft class the year he won MVP. So whenever he came out, people are noticing because he won Offensive Rookie of the Year that year too. So people are starting to take notice
of these people that are unconventional and break the norms by going out of the pocket that can run and throw.
Exactly.
Like the biggest project that was out of this draft, was Anthony Richardson, and when he wasn't hurt, he was looking great. He was looking like the second coming of Cam Newton, like. He was looking real amazing, and I was excited to see what he was able to do.
And I felt like him and C.J. Stroud would have had a really good run for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Because you even look at it, the Colts are 6-4 with Gardner Minshew. And you cannot tell me that Anthony Richardson will not have this team any better.
Yeah.
So, and also, I feel like it's how you're coached in the league, too, as a quarterback. Like, coming in and having your quarterback's coach being Josh McCown, it's really about how you're coached, bro. And it's a mentality of, like, whenever you're coming out from college to, like, and I feel like that's one of the big reasons why Johnny Manziel didn't do good, because Johnny Manziel, all he wanted to do was party. And there were so many distractions in college. It was just party, booze, Drake, stuff like that. But whenever you come out and be like, this is really a business now. Like, it's exactly what Tom Brady told C.J. Stroud. He was like, this is your profession. This is your job. This isn't a game anymore. You feel me? And you can even tell whenever, like, there's a good quarterback that has no wide receivers and no offensive line. And it's so much different than just a bad quarterback, bro.
Yeah.
And you can even see that with Bailey Zapp and Mac Jones. And I was just talking about this the other day with just some of my friends. I honestly think that if Mac Jones had an offensive line and good receivers, he'd probably be way better than he is right now. And you saw it in college. It's not like Mac Jones is just, like, terrible. He looks terrible out there. But at the same time, what help does he have at all? And I feel like this is different with other positions too. And it's really big with wide receivers because if you watch college football in like the 2010s era, you're going to know what I'm talking about here. But if DeAnthony Thomas or Tavon Austin was drafted like last year or 2 years ago, boy, would these guys be dogs. And they were just born a few years early. So, like, it's just crazy to think about because you'll see guys on these NFL offenses be Swiss Army knives. And you see guys like Deebo Samuel. Like, it's just crazy because you'll go back. And I know a lot of my guys do this. They'll go back and watch Tavon Austin, West Virginia highlights with that one song on it. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Song.
Yeah, they got Helen back. And it's just one of the craziest things ever, bro.
Yeah, man, I totally agree with you. First thing first, love of the game does have a lot to do with it. Like you said with Johnny Manziel, he didn't have no love for the game. He just wanted to skip all the hard work and everything. He just wanted to be the superstar, and all he did was party, which obviously led to his downfall. Then you have coaching is obviously a big issue. Bryce Young, he doesn't have the right. He didn't have the right coach, so they moved on from him from Frank Reich. But C.J. Stroud, he has a good coach that trusts C.J. Stroud, and but the right people around him to help him develop. But then you look at Trevor Lawrence, right? Trevor Lawrence was kind of in the Bryce Young situation, right? When he had Urban Meyer there, head coaching of the Jaguars, and then everybody was ready to call him a bust because he was looking really, really, really bad under Urban Meyer. And then they go out there, get Dougie P, they get him some weapons, and all of a sudden he's improved drastically. And this is the once in a generation talent that people were talking about when he came into the draft. So it's like that's really what helps. There's other stuff that comes along with it too, because people need a good roster, right?
Yeah.
Like Kyler Murray right now, he's a franchise quarterback, right? But
2-10.
But people aren't talking about Kyler Murray and what he's doing right now because they're putting him not as a top 10 quarterback right now because of how bad his roster is. So he's not able to win games. He's not able to get the help that he needs. But then you have Brock Purdy, who's being able to I'm not saying Brock Purdy is a bad quarterback, nothing like that. Brock Purdy is looking really good. But he's definitely looking a lot better because he's on the 49ers with that system, with that great O-line, with those great weapons, with the best running back in the league. So, your roster and how it's constructed is has a lot to do with it. Like we said with hard love of the game, Johnny Manziel didn't have none of that, but Tua Tagovailoa has a love of the game, right? He didn't want to quit football because that was a real option for him because of all those concussions last year. So since he loved the game so much, he spent time at the offseason learning how to take hits better so he can stay healthier and play longer. There's a lot of intangible stuff that, comes along with the quarterback position that some quarterbacks don't have, right? Tom Brady, one of the most cool and calm and collected people you'll see in the face of pressure. So that's something you can't coach, right? If you're going to get spooked in pressure, that's just going to happen, right? Aaron Rodgers is probably one of the best quarterbacks at reading, exploiting, and processing a defense. Not every quarterback can do that, and you can't coach that all the time. So it's like these are things that, is really good to be a great quarterback in the league, but not everybody has it. Dak Prescott, he's a great quarterback, but when the moment's big, the pressure gets on him, and you can tell, right? So it's like, no one's saying Dak's a bad quarterback.
Dak's definitely a football guy, though.
Yeah, Dak's a football guy, though. But that's the thing, though. We're not saying Dak's bad, but he doesn't have those intangibles that these other quarterbacks have. But that's just how it works sometimes. You get people that have talent that comes into a big part of it, right? Justin Herbert, one of the best quarterbacks, one of the most talented quarterbacks in the league right now, but he has a bad head coach, and so he can't,
fire that man.
Fire him already. I won't be surprised if it happens this week after Frank Reich got fired. Hopefully, we're hoping for him. But Justin Herbert, great talent, has a bad head coach though, so he's not getting treated right. And I'm saying he's getting treated right, but he's not using his talents in the right way. Patrick Mahomes, amazing talent. You know what they paired him up with? An amazing head coach in Andy Reid. But then you have Kenny Pickett, right? He has a great head coach. Bro's just bad. Bro doesn't have talent. You know what I'm saying? So you can't coach talent. You know. But if you don't have the talent, you got to be able to put the dedication and hard work in it. Jalen Hurts came in the league, wasn't the best thrower of the football, but he put the dedication into it, right? He continuously spent time to get better in the off seasons, and you've seen over the past few years his passing stats just keep getting better and better. The only thing that kind of went down or really up was his turnover rate, which was the interceptions this year. But that's what happens when you start passing the ball more. You're gonna intercept the ball. You're gonna intercept the ball more. But that's just something. He's just dedicated to his craft. So he's getting better and better each time and each year because he's dedicating his time to his craft. And if Kobe Bryant was still alive, that'd be Kobe Bryant's favorite player because he really has that Mamba mentality, And then
that bro quit glazing.
Bro, can I not talk about that? I'm talking about the topic.
Bro, he's your hero. We get it.
Situation also has a big part of it. Justin Fields, he has a lot of talent. He's really good, but he's in a really bad situation right now. Just like Geno Smith, when he was drafted in the first round. He was in a very bad situation, and he was able to bust. And he was a bust for people in a lot of people's eyes for 10 years or so, right? Then he goes over to the Seattle Seahawks, and he had a coach that trusted him, and they were able to build him up. And then he was able to bounce back, and he has exceeded expectations so far in Seattle because no one expected Seattle to be this good under Geno Smith, and that's just a lot of what happens. It's about there's a lot of stuff that comes together to, that separates the great quarterbacks in the league from the bad quarterbacks. Talent is a part of it, but it's not the whole thing, right? It's also roster, coaching, love of the game, your intangibles, dedication, and the situation that you're put into. So it's really hard to, kind of predict which guys are going to be that guy every time. That's why, there's a lot of buzz because you think this guy's going to be that guy, but he ends up not being him. So,
Yeah. I even want to, talk about Bryce Young whenever it comes to that. I know we keep going back to him. But, you look at Bryce Young off the field, and he's a really smart guy. Mm-hmm. And you'll even hear that from coaches, you'll hear from analysts. So it's just not me saying that.
Yeah, that's why he was able to captain as a rookie in the league.
Exactly. He's a captain, and you'll have reporters be like, this guy is calm, cool, and collected. He basically sounds like the leader of this team every time they go up and talk to him. And that's kind of what you want in a quarterback. You want a leader. You want a guy who can take control of the team and actually lock in and make your team good. And thank God we fired Frank Reich because that was not going to happen with him. So,
man, the season's coming to an end. In not a couple weeks, but in a few weeks, right? We have about 5 weeks, I think, right now.
Yeah.
And then let me go ahead and ask you, because as we get closer to the playoff picture, I think it starts all to coming together. Excuse me. Who do you think are the contenders, and who do you think are the pretenders in the NFL right now?
So for me, I feel like, at least this season, for sure, I feel like the skill gap is super high between teams. Mm-hmm. That, it's kind of hard to tell. And I feel like a lot of teams get a lot of respect from me just because they're winning. And teams don't necessarily pick their schedule, so
Mm-hmm.
it's not like I'm gonna just call you. It's not like I'm gonna just be like, yeah, you suck because you haven't beat a team with over 500 record all year. Like they, like the Cowboys can go out there and just like pick somebody to play.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, it's just for me, bro. If I could choose anybody who could necessarily be a pretender, I'd probably only say like the Steelers. And that's honestly because just the offense is terrible. Like you can't even watch like their games, bro. Because honestly, whenever they're on offense, you might as well switch the channel. So it's straight like that, and I just can't see them going far in the playoffs unless their defense can hold people to 10 points. But I mean, you got legit teams. You got. I still feel like the Cowboys are a legit team. I got Philly. I got the Dolphins. And honestly, with the way that the Bills played last night against the Philadelphia Eagles, they might go back up as a team. And what they might go, they play, would they be 12-6 or 11-6 if they went out?
If they went out, I think, because they're right now, they have 5 more games, right?
Yeah.
So I think
they'd be 11-6. So, yeah, I mean, if they end up winning out, I still feel like that team, just a really good team. They're a terrible team on the road, though. So that's just the problem.
So I feel like if they do make the playoffs, they'll probably be a wild card team, and then they'll play most of the games on the road.
Oh, yeah, they will. But, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're about to go into a bye week, and then they got the Chiefs the week after at Arrowhead. So that'll be pretty tough. But, I mean, other than that, they only got 2 home games left. But they got a tough stretch of games. Besides the Chargers and the Bills, they're going to end up playing the Cowboys and the Dolphins, too. So that'll be fun. I'm pretty sure, I mean, a different pretender I'd have would just probably it's not even, like, obvious, but they're not even, like, that good of a team, but it's a team that might end up winning their division. I am going to say the Atlanta Falcons. And I've been watching this team because they're in my division, so I watch them almost every week.
Man, they kept cutting on red zone to the Falcons in the Saints game. It was horrible. It was so bad. Every time they turned the channel, it was always a turnover. I was like, come on now.
And, bro, people were giving Derek Carr death threats.
Oh, that's crazy. No one ever deserves death threats, ever.
Yes, never. And it was crazy. Like I heard someone say, I'll cash up somebody in Atlanta to make sure he don't make it back to New Orleans.
Like, it's like football's never that serious.
Never that serious, bro. And but just about the Falcons, bro. They're just one of those teams to where, like, they might win this division this year, but it's gonna be like whenever the Washington Commanders won the division at 7-9.
But they're not gonna almost beat the Tom Brady Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, bro. But those are mine.
All right, mine. I have a couple of the same pretenders. The Falcons, of course, because they're just garbage, and then I have the Steelers, and then I also have the Seahawks, Lions, and Dolphins as pretenders, just because the Seahawks, I think they are these are all good teams, but I think when the moment comes for them to like play one of those top tier teams in the playoffs, I don't think they're gonna be able to hold themselves up to that standard that they've had, especially, the Dolphins and the Seahawks. Because the Dolphins, they really have been struggling with those good teams so far this season. And then the Seahawks, you just saw what happened to them against the 49ers. And I just think, when they have to play like the Eagles or the Cowboys or something, so I don't know how it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they're going to really do that great against those teams in that pass rush, especially because Geno in the pocket, it frustrates me because I just see him go, like, take a lot of those sacks. Instead of he's not very fluid in the pocket, which is one issue that I have with Geno's game, because Geno is he's a pretty smart player when he's on the field. Aside from that, Yeah,
and even whenever losing that Rams game by 1 was really tough for the Seahawks, because if they would have won that game, they would have been sitting at 7-4 right now, just right behind the 49ers. But right now at 6-5, I mean, Seahawks could go out there, lose their next 3, and the Rams might be second in the division. You feel me?
Yeah.
So it's crazy to think about, and it's crazy to see that stuff and how it happens too. So.
And then I have the Lions up there just because they have a really good team all around, but the biggest liability that they have is Jared Goff. So, like, I can't really put my trust in Jared Goff.
Hendon Hooker might start this week, yo.
He's not going to start, but he's able to practice now, coming off that torn ACL that he had in college.
Let him start.
I've been wanting Hendon Hooker to play, even though I know he was healing from that ACL injury.
Yeah.
So I'd be excited if that happens. And, the contenders, of course, you have the Eagles, Niners, Ravens, the Cowboys are up there. Even though the Cowboys, like we said earlier, have not beat a team over 500, they're still a really great team. They have arguably the defensive player of the year in DeRon Bland over there with 5 pick sixes on the year, which is freaking insane. I hate the Cowboys. I'm an avid hater, and I can't say anything bad about a cornerback doing great, man.
Bro has more touchdowns than my wide receiver, too. Bro, this man DJ Chark has 3 touchdowns.
All I have to say is I think Devontae Smith, what's it called? I think they tied him. Oh, almost not tied. He doesn't have more than Devontae Smith no more. People were saying that before we played this week. So I'm glad Smitty got a touchdown. I think he did. I'm pretty sure.
That's so wild, yo.
But yeah, dude, 5 touchdowns, like, it's crazy. I think he has more than DeAndre Hopkins too.
That makes sense. I mean,
but like, still, that's freaking DeAndre Hopkins, man.
Yeah.
And then I have the Chiefs and Jaguars, right? Chiefs, they could be a pretender, but at the same time, Patrick Mahomes is the quarterback of that team, so they'll never be a pretender in my eyes, Because even though they have a suspect wide receiver group, this is the best run game they've had in a few years. Travis Kelce is still there. Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the league. Not MVP because Jalen Hurts, you know what I'm saying?
Bro.
But had a plug. But this is the best defense they've had I think under Patrick Mahomes since he's been there. And that's saying a lot, because they used to have the Honey Badger up there at that safety position.
He had 2 picks this weekend, yo. Honey Badger up.
But, it was
Desmond Ridder throwing the ball.
So it was like good for you, but come on now.
They had 2 picks and 15 points. That's insane.
But then you have the Jaguars, which is, I gave them a lot of slack earlier for winning a lot of those close games. But, like, that's exactly what you want to do as a football team. You want to win. When the games are close, you do want to win those games. So even though they have been ugly wins, they have been wins. So you can't knock them for that. So that's why I think they're legitimate contenders in the AFC. But I really think at the end of the day, it's going to be an Eagles versus Ravens Super Bowl, and I think that's going to be one of the most exciting Super Bowls that we've ever seen. If it's that, because you get 2 of the best rushing quarterbacks in the league. The Ravens, who we've been waiting to go to the bowl ever since Lamar won that MVP. Jalen Hurts, who you know how I feel about him,
bro. Philly not going to the bowl.
Stop hating, bro. Stop hating.
I'm just playing, bro.
Yeah, you know what's up.
Bro.
You know what's up.
It don't matter who go to the bowl.
Because Philly going to be in that bowl.
All I know is that the Panthers going to be there in 2-3 years. That's all I know.
I know Lotto's at home, maybe listening to this, probably saying, bro, it's going to be Philly Broncos. Philly Broncos.
Oh, my goodness. If you're a Broncos fan listening to this, bro, shout out Russ. Let Russ cook. Broncos to the... Actually, nah. I'm a Panthers fan. What am I talking about the Broncos? What am I talking about? I hope y'all lose the rest of y'all's games, actually. That's what I think. And what am I talking about?
Bro got flashbacks. He was saying that. Bro got flashbacks of Peyton Manning.
I remembered for a second.
Bro was like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
What's it called? Games of the week, man. Always changing, but always interesting. You want to go first? Or you want to go first?
There's not too many good ones. I'm gonna just let you go first because I'm pretty sure we have the same.
All right. First off, I got 49ers Eagles. This is the game that 49er fans have been waiting for way more than the Eagles fans, just because they've been talking a lot of trash ever since the Eagles beat them in the NFC Championship, since Brock Purdy went down and Josh Johnson went down. Which I understand why you're angry, but I understand why you're mad at us because nobody was out there to hurt nobody. They were playing a game. Nobody injures anybody on purpose. But this should be a really good game. The top 2 NFC teams battling out, which will have crucial playoff seeding consequences. If the 49ers win, they'll obviously be 1 game behind Philadelphia. But Philadelphia still has to play the Cowboys afterwards, so that's going to be really tough. But if the 49ers win and the Eagles lose against the Cowboys, then the Niners will be able to, jump the Eagles because they have the tiebreaker. So, that's a game that Philadelphia needs to win, but that's also a game that San Francisco needs to win. And this is a game that the Philadelphia Eagles can't get behind, I understand, they were to come back against the Chiefs and the Bills, but the Niners are built in such a way where they're going to make it really hard for you to come back on both sides of the ball. Next game I have the Broncos and Texans. I think this is where I think Denver's win streak is going to end. I think they have been playing really well, even though the Texans lost that last week. I think the offense will be a little bit too much for the Broncos defense to handle, but I am very excited to see Tank Dell versus PS2. I think that should be a great matchup, and that should be a matchup we should be excited for many years to come. And then the last game, I have the Seattle Seahawks against the Dallas Cowboys. This is a big opportunity here for the Seahawks to silence haters like me. But I think our Dallas has the opportunity to get the first win over over a 500 team, a team over 500. And then Geno will be tested by that Cowboys pass rush because, that Cowboys pass rush is going to be crucial, especially after seeing how that O-line played against the 49ers pass rush. I do think the Cowboys, have them a little beat because they do have Micah Parsons. DeMarcus Lawrence has been playing really great this year. And then it should be an interesting matchup to see whoever's guarding DK, whether it's Stephon Gilmore or it's Deron Bland. I'm excited to see how they handle that because, DK Metcalf is a freaking freak of a human. So that should be interesting.
I mean, yeah, and pretty good games of the week. Those are really just the best games of the week in general. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, the wait is over. We're going to see who's the best team in the NFC this week.
Philly.
All right. But, I mean, one game me personally I'm looking forward to is definitely the Browns versus Rams. And that's mainly because you see the Rams. They're sitting at 5-6 right now, just behind the Seattle Seahawks at, what's it called, 6-5.
Yep.
And Seattle has a legit chance to lose this weekend against the Cowboys. So if they can go ahead and take a loss to the Cowboys and the Rams go and beat the Browns with DTR starting at quarterback, and I know the Rams haven't looked too crazy this year.
I don't even know if DTR is going to start because he got a concussion last game.
Really?
Yeah, so he might be out because of concussion protocol.
And that's a whole nother reason.
Yeah, because you're going to have P.J. Walker in, and then I don't know if P.J. Walker is going to lead him to another
I love
win.
P.J. Walker.
Panthers legend P.J. Walker. Didn't y'all still lose that game when you threw that Hail Mary to DJ Moore?
Yes, we did.
That's so crazy. I don't know how y'all lost that game. That was a crazy play, though.
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, they just got to win that game because after the Rams play the Browns, it won't look too good because they play the Ravens the week after. But this is just a really good game to win to not stay behind. Like we said last week, Seattle Seahawks have a tough schedule coming up. They're going to go ahead and play the 49ers the week after this week, too. So why not go out there? Make both of y'all 6-6 right now. And you just beat them 2 weeks ago. So let's see if y'all would win the tiebreaker. And another game I have is just Falcons and Jets, too. It's gonna be such a slugfest. It's the worst slugfest I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, my goodness.
The worst slugfest I've ever seen.
Do you think that game's going to be worse than the Bears-Panthers?
No. No. But I only say the Falcons and Jets just because the Falcons have a chance to win the division. And I really want the Jets to take that away from them. I need PS2 to lock up. I mean, not PS2, Sauce Gardner. My bad. But also DJ Reed. But then
the thing is with them, though, is their quarterback situation is so messed up right now because the two quarterbacks they have over Zach Wilson right now are not better than Zach Wilson, and they don't give him a better chance than Zach Wilson did. So I don't understand the move at all, really. Like, I understand why y'all bench Zach Wilson, but at the same time, y'all could have traded if y'all wanted to keep playoff hopes alive until Aaron Rodgers came back. Y'all could have traded for Jameis Winston. Like, Jameis Winston would have been throwing up, Jameis balls. But who doesn't love a good Jameis ball every now and then? Pause.
But then the third game, Jerry's already touched on it. 49ers and Eagles, bro. But just definitely game of the week. Game of the year even, maybe. And it's going to be held at Philly. And hopefully it's not raining again, stuff like that. So if 49ers lose or Eagles lose, we don't hear all the excuses that we're going to hear. Be like, bro, Jalen Hurts is playing on one leg. bro, they hit Brock Purdy, bro, the refs. We're going to hear it all, y'all.
Yeah, I hope Brock Purdy stays healthy the whole game. Hope all the players stay healthy the whole game. So just so there's no excuses either way.
There's going to be an excuse.
There's going to be an excuse. Refs. Like,
bro, it's going to be y'all saying that.
I'm not, bro. Well, probably. Yeah, but what's it called? The Bills were saying that they didn't come. Bills were saying that after this game, like they weren't the most penalized team in the league coming into this week.
No, for real.
But top 5 teams in the NFL. You're gonna go ahead and go first.
Yeah, I'll go first.
Starts
number 1 off is the Bengals.
Number 1, the Carolina Panthers after the move being made.
Nah, for real. The Panthers actually were celebrating Victory Monday today because we fired Frank Reich.
Before we do that, my bad, I want to ask you, it's been a tough weekend for you. Not only did the Panthers lose, Ohio State lost to Michigan.
No.
Do you want to discuss anything about that right now before, the podcast is over?
Yeah, man, actually, it has been a tough weekend. And I say that both my teams lost. But, there's not much you can do. You feel me? Ohio State might get rid of Ryan Day. He's 1-3 against Michigan. He's 1-3 against ranked teams. Ranked teams in the playoff. Well, of course, the playoff team is ranked, but in the playoffs, he's 1-3. And I'm pretty sure just beating ranked teams in general, he's lost more than he's won. I know this year we beat 2 ranked teams, but it's nothing crazy. But just in general, I feel like Ryan Day might be done. There was this one guy that tweeted out before the game, he was like, "Show them why you deserve this, Ryan Day. Go beat Michigan." Then at the end, it was literally an Ohio State legend. I forget his name. But then at the end of the game, he tweeted, "At Ryan Day, you have to go." Like, what? But it was just crazy to see. But, there's not much you can do whenever stuff like that happens. You had Kyle McCord get pressured on the last play of the game. But, we were driving, though, that last drive. So it was honestly... It was just a really fun game. We almost came back. They got a lot of momentum from that, what's it called? I forget how to pronounce his last name, but that injury that they took to their guard who has played 41 games, their longest tenured guard that they have on the team. But just that in general, bro. I'm just hoping we do better next year.
And then, while we're on topic of college football, Matthias want us to talk about the Alabama versus Auburn game. And then
that game was crazy.
The game winner, Milroe threw in the back of the end zone, to the back of the left end zone. And that was...
Bro, y'all don't even understand. I'm sitting there watching it because they got hit with the intentional grounding the play before it happened. And I'm like, okay, they just lost it down on 3rd down. Mm-hmm. It just got moved back like 10 yards. It is 4th and goal on the 31-yard line. And I'm like... Wow, this is over. They sent it to commercial. I'm just thinking about getting on the game. And I'm sitting there. I'm like, let me just watch so, they can celebrate beating Bama. And I can text my friend that they're not making the playoff. When I tell y'all I'm watching it, this man Jalen Monroe is just standing. They sent 3 guys at him. But my biggest thing was, no way Isaiah Bond only has 1 corner on him. That is their best receiver. And he has 1 guy on him. He just tosses it up in the corner. And people might say, yeah, push off. That happens every single play.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, if you have more than 1 guy there, that's not a touchdown. And just seeing that, bro, y'all should have seen my face.
No, I think the funniest thing was when they zoomed in on that one girl's face in the crowd and she was just bawling her eyes out. I started crying.
Bro, because it was just ain't no way. No way I really witnessed that real time. And that's something crazy. Imagine you were in the, front row right behind that. There was a guy that posted on TikTok a video. I think he was just one of the media guys. Literally took a video of literally right there. And Isaiah Bond holding up the touchdown sign. It was literally crazy. And, bro, I can't even, say anything, bro. Just a good win by Bama. It was crazy to see how Auburn choked like that. Literally the most ultimate choke job I've ever seen by a team.
Pause.
All
right. Let's go ahead and get to your top 5 teams now, man. Now we got those things off our chests.
Yeah, bro. I mean, number 5. I'm gonna go ahead and put this team has not. I don't think it's ever touched my top 5 at all, actually, since we started this, which is kind of crazy. But I'm gonna go ahead and put the Dallas Cowboys in there, and they've won their last 3. It doesn't look like they're gonna stop winning anytime soon. I mean, they got just one of the most prolific offenses in the league and a great defense. Then at number 4, I'm going to go ahead and put the Detroit Lions at number 4.
Really?
Bro, I'm high on them, bro. You know this. You know this.
I'm shocked.
And I'm putting him at 4. Just a really big fan of him. Y'all know I want Ben Johnson. I want to take him from the team. Number 3, San Francisco 49ers. And that's just because, bro, I promise y'all, I need a bet against Philly again. I need my get back from this Kansas City. And why am I totally forgetting a team?
The Ravens.
Nah, they're up there. You know what? Scratch Detroit. Cause I want Kansas City in mine.
Okay, that's what I was. That's what I was.
Detroit.
I was wondering where they were going to be. That's why I was confused.
So I'm at number 4, Kansas City.
Okay.
Number 3, I got San Francisco. Number 2, Baltimore. Number 1, Philly.
Philly, baby. Say it. Say it for the one time.
No.
Say it for the one time.
Keep pounding. Go Panthers.
Nah. I know you want to say it.
Keep pounding. Go Panthers.
Hey, if you want it, if the Eagles win this week, you know, I want you to say it on the podcast.
No.
I want you to say, what will it take for you to say Philly on the pod?
I don't even know. Sheesh. What will it take? Maybe we'll have to like drop a poll.
Okay.
And we'll see what people say.
All right, for sure. All right, my list stays pretty much the exact same as last week. We have the same 5 teams. Number 5, I have the Dallas Cowboys as well. You know, great football team, but I don't think they're better than the 49ers, who I have at 4. The Kansas City Chiefs at 3 is Patrick Mahomes. They had a dominating win. I know it was the Raiders, but, you know, Raiders have new life in them, so I feel like, and, you know, coming down 14-0 after only 13 offensive yards early in the game to win by 31, I think that deserves to put them at 3. Excuse me. And number 2, have the Baltimore Ravens. They say the same as last week. You know, Lamar Jackson, freaking electric player. Nelson Aguilar, I think he scored a touchdown. I think, or maybe I'm bugging out. He just had a big play. All I know is Nelson Aguilar. You know, I've always loved Nelson Aguilar, even though a lot of people hate him because he does drop a lot of passes. I'll give him that. But, you know, Zay Flowers, 2 tuds on the game. Had that trash celebration. Lamar wasn't feeling it. The flower bouquet touchdown celebration. Then he scored late in the game. I didn't think he should have scored late in the game, honestly, that last touchdown he scored. I thought that he should have went down at like 1 or something and let them run the clock out. But Justin Herbert couldn't get the job done anyway, so it didn't matter. The number 1, you already know, Philly, baby.
Boo.
Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts, MVP, front runner, 5 tuds on the last game. You know, man, what else could you want, man? What else could you want from besides Jalen Hurts, Jason Kelce, Mylata? You saw the picture, Kelce, Hurts, Swift. You know, I love it, bro. I love the game. I love the hustle. All right.
Bro's hitting us with quotes.
Man, what's it called? What Jalen Hurts said? He said, keep the main thing. That's what they do. They just keep winning. That's the main thing, and all they do is win. So you can't really hate. The only thing I'm upset about is that the one loss we have on the season is to Zach Wilson.
That's real.
That's the only thing I'm upset about. And the thing is, Zach Wilson didn't even score a touchdown. The only touchdown they scored was because we threw a damn near pick six at the end of the game, and Brees Hall just walked in so we could go down the field and score again just to throw another interception. But, you know, that's my top 5 this week.
But yeah, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this podcast. Again, we hope y'all had we hope y'all had a great Thanksgiving with y'all's families. We are glad to be back. Hopefully y'all enjoyed our episode last week. We're going to drop another one this Friday. And if you tuned in today, thank you. If you've been tuning in throughout this whole time, thank you. And you got anything to say before we head out, Jane?
No, if you're new, just welcome. You know, follow us on all socials. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcasts. And we appreciate you guys.
All right, we'll see y'all Friday.
I'll see y'all.